All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're jumping into a really fascinating, kind of radical idea from the work of L.F. Yada. It's all about this journey to expand our own perception, to really ask what it would take to connect with all the life that's around us. Yeah, even the parts we can't see.
So let me start with a question that's right at the heart of all this. What if our world is just absolutely teeming with intelligence that we're completely blind to? I'm not just talking about trees maybe whispering to each other on some frequency we can't hear. I mean, what if there are life forms made of pure energy, all just kind of waiting for us to figure out how to say hello? Now, if that sounds a little out there, just look at this number. 0.0035%. That tiny, tiny fraction, that's all of the electromagnetic spectrum our eyes can actually see. That's it. When you see that, you can't help but wonder, what in the world is going on in the other 99.9%? This is basically our invitation to take a little peek behind that sensory curtain. Okay, so to help us get our bearings in this uncharted territory, the source material gives us a kind of map. It's called the spectrum of life. And no, this isn't about your old biology class. It's a really simple spectrum, and it's based on just one thing. How easy is it for us to notice and, communicate with other life forms? This spectrum, it's really got three basic categories. So on one end, you have the obvious. That's us, our dogs and cats, other animals. Communication here just feels intuitive, right? Then you've got the middle ground. Think about things like trees or fungi. We know they're alive, for sure, but their language? Total enigma. And then way, way out on the far end, you have the imperceptible, the stuff that's purely hypothetical for now, like beings that might exist on a plane our senses just can't even pick up.
So, where on earth do we even start with a journey like this? Well, the advice is to begin right there in that middle ground. Trees are just the perfect training wheels. I mean, they're right there, they're visible, we know they're alive, but their language is just alien enough to really force us to stretch our minds and our senses. And, this isn't just some philosophical flight of fancy. This stuff is actually rooted in real science. Researchers like Suzanne Simard have proven that trees use these vast underground networks to communicate, to share food with their own kin, or to warn their neighbors about pests. So there's a real language there. We just need to learn how to listen.
So how do we actually start listening? The whole process is broken down into four pretty straightforward stages. First, you just observe. You learn their slow language of growth and change. Then you can bring in some help, augment your senses with a little tech, maybe use some sensors to pick up signals we can't see. Third, and this is a big one, you practice empathy. You try to sync up with their incredibly slow timescale. And finally, you interact. Maybe you play some music for a tree, and then you just journal what you notice. But look, this is about so much more than just a quirky hobby. Learning to talk to a tree, well, that's just the first step. The real power here comes from what that connection unlocks inside of us and how it starts to ripple out into the rest of our lives.
So on a really practical level, this kind of deep observation could inspire whole new technologies or better ways to approach conservation. Philosophically, it gives you a big dose of humility, a pretty crucial reminder that we aren't the center of the universe. And then personally, it just sharpens your senses, it makes you more curious, and it builds this profound sense of empathy for, everything that's alive.
Of course, there's that little skeptical voice in the back of your head, right? Come on, what if this whole imperceptible life thing, what if it doesn't even exist? And that's fair. But the explorer's view is that it almost doesn't matter. The very act of looking, of trying to connect, it develops these incredible skills. Keen observation, patience, deep curiosity that are so valuable no matter what you find. The process itself is the real prize. And all of this brings us to the most important part of all, your journey. It's time to take these ideas off the screen and actually put them into action. Think of it as a personal mission, just for the curious. And to get you started, the source material gives us a really simple but honestly powerful plan. This is your tangible takeaway, something you can literally begin the moment this explainer is over. So here it is, your 30-day mission. Step 1, just choose a tree. Any tree, one near your house, in a park, whatever, and just observe it every day. Step 2, interact a little. You could play it some music or, heck, even get a simple soil sensor online to watch its hidden signals. And step 3, journal. Write down not just what you see, but what you feel. That's it. Simple, right?
So we end right back where we began, but I hope with a totally new perspective. The world is alive in ways we see and in so many ways we can only begin to imagine. It's constantly sending out signals. So the only real question left is, will you answer the call?